So here we are on the outside of a 2016 Chevy Camaro. It's not an RS, it's just a Chevy Camaro. However, this one is bizarrely optioned. And after we walk around it and take a look at a few things, I'll show you what I mean. Walking up to it, it does appear black, but that's just because the sun isn't hitting it real well. If you look real closely, I'm not sure how it's going to show because it's dirty and I don't want to get dirt rubbed into the paint, but this is actually black mosaic. It's got a metallic in it. The other option is a straight black, but this one is mosaic black. This one is sitting on the stock 18-inch wheels, but I can tell you that is absolutely where the baseness stops in this vehicle. So, coming around, sunroof, which is nice, I guess. I've never been a fan of them, but it's a nice thing to have, I guess. Coming down here, no wing, it's a wing delete car. First tip off that something's odd with this car is that, as you can see, it has the performance exhaust on it. Dual mode, has a nice burble to it. Sounds really nice when it's running. Other than that, it looks like a plain Jane little four-banger. So even on the convertibles, you don't get a whole lot of trunk space. This is exacerbated by the design of the car. You can see how much of the car is actually intruding into the load-in space. It's annoying, but it's not a turn-off totally for the car because it does still provide quite a bit of space. It's just you have to be more selective on what you take. Suitcases and the whatnot should fit all right, although nothing too long. But standard overnight bags, I don't think a golf bag is going to fit, but that's okay. This thing shouldn't be on a golf course anyway. It should be on a race course. So under here you have the 3.6 liter direct injected V6, and I'm actually very impressed with this engine because they managed to make 335 horsepower with 3.6 liters, whereas Ford chooses to use turbos to make 15 more horsepower. So I will give the point to Chevrolet because when they twin turbo this motor in applications such as the Cadillac ATS-V as well as the XT6 V Sport or whatever the hell they call it, it gets 420 horsepower. So that little bit of extra engineering paid off dividends here. It is direct injected and it is a little bit harsh when you're looking at it. You can see it's vibrating a little bit, but overall it's a really strong engine. I like it so far. Good morning still. As you can see, it's 9:23 in the morning. This is one of the most heavily optioned base ones that I've seen ever. And I don't know how well you're seeing the heads-up display through this screen, but it is working. But this is a V6 base model. However, it's been so optioned out that it's almost an SS in terms of trim. Now let me start here and we'll start pointing things out. Number one, yes, this does have the red stitched leather, perforated leather interior. Yes, this one does have the sunroof. Yes, this one does have navigation, full big screen, all that good stuff, as well as the upgraded dashboard with all the digital stuff. This is a premium package vehicle. You've got memory seats, full everything, and again the heads-up display. This is a bit of a bastard child for the dealer that we got it from because of one thing that I'm going to show you. Looking at the window sticker, this vehicle started life at $29,800. That's the price when you start with the manual transmission car. This thing has in options the convenience and lighting package, which is memory package, driver seat, outside mirrors, interior spectrum. It's got ambient lighting. It's got the wireless charging, the rear park assist, rear cross traffic alert. It's got the 8-inch screen, the side blind zone, heads-up display, and the heated steering wheel. And the 335 horsepower V6 instead of the base 2-liter 4-cylinder, which was originally optioned. This one also has the 8-speed automatic, which I've been goofing around with, but not too much. It's a brand new car. Has remote start, power sunroof. It has the dual mode exhaust. It has the adrenaline red interior accent trim package, which is what this is. And of course it has the Chevrolet MyLink audio system with Apple CarPlay, and let's see what else. Touchscreen, Mosaic Black. The black is $395. Unless it's sunny out, you can't tell the difference, but to each their own. This one gets supposedly 28 miles to the gallon, highway, 19 city, 23 combined. So yeah, this thing added $9,000 in options to the base price of a vehicle. Yet, if you're willing to take the 335 horsepower motor, and willing, that's kind of the wrong word. If you take the 335 horsepower motor, you actually wind up getting a hell of a deal, because this same vehicle, they were actually looking at this same vehicle in an SS with the V8, and it was extremely expensive. I'm talking the difference between 38 and 51, so almost a $12,000 difference in change, 38.5, whatever, you know what I mean. Come on now. As the different modes for the vehicle, you have Sport, Tour, and Snow Ice. I don't know too many people that drive them in the snow and the ice, although I would probably be one of them. Of course, you got the cool temperature controlled by the giant knobby things that you'd see on an airplane. Heated and cooled seats, I believe. Yes, heated and cooled. Sorry, I don't know why my brain couldn't find that all of a sudden. Small-ish center armrest, which is to be expected. I'm not too butthurt about that, to be honest with you, because it's quite common in a lot of cars these days. Now, you're probably wondering, in all the other vehicles, where is the smart charging pad? It's usually here on top of the glove box, but in this case, it's right there. Mainly because everybody knows this is a 4-seat car. It's not a 5-seater, which is pretty darn obvious, and there you go. So, now, I don't know if you guys remember, but one of the first videos I did on this channel involving cars that weren't my own was a review of an automatic-equipped 2SS Camaro. That one was a very truncated drive. I didn't go very far. I was too panicky. I just started at the dealership. I was just in the BDC, so I figured I wasn't able to do anything with it. This vehicle, I'm going to be driving about 140 miles today, so I will get a good feel of it. And my first impression is that 335 horsepower will be more than enough for most people, including the person that bought this. They wanted more power than the 4-cylinder, didn't need the power of the V8. The power of the V8 is a wonderful thing to have if you can use it, but she just wanted it. Sorry, I said it was a she. But she just wanted it because she wants a good car that looks good and goes pretty quick. She didn't feel the 4-cylinder would be quite powerful enough, and to be absolutely brutally honest, I agree with her. I think she made a good choice. So I have the transmission in manual mode. I have the car in sport mode, which is where I like to have it, and I'm actually pretty impressed. The V6 is definitely willing to rev, and I have the heads-up display to help me know when to shift, like I need help. But it sounds good with that dual mode exhaust. Here, listen. I don't know how many of you remember back to the old days, but they used to make V6 engines in a lot of cars, a lot of European performance cars. This sounds very European. It could be because of the direct injected motor, the exhaust system, whatever it is. I actually really like the way it sounds. So, but I really enjoy this car, believe it or not. I didn't think I would, because the previous generation is a, ooh, there we go. I will be honest, I didn't think I would like this car as much as I do because of the old car. But as I repeatedly tell customers, and as I do know, this car is not built on the old Holden platform. This is built on the ATS's platform, which is worlds above the old platform. And it is a much tighter feeling car, even though it's not as small as people said. It's only a couple of 100 pounds lighter, but it does pay dividends, especially with the size of the overhangs, as much bumper as you have. One of the biggest complaints they used to have about the rear bumpers on the older Camaros, and I addressed this in the first video, is how large it looked. That's why they have the black like trim piece, I guess you would call it. It's not a real diffuser, but it's a trim piece. That's why that exists on that vehicle. It's to help hide the mass of the car. This one still has it, and it does kind of the same thing, but it's not as necessary. You could probably get away with it on this car. Personal preference, I like it. I think it looks good. Now this is a black car, so it's harder to see, but it still looks decent. The shifts in this, when I call for them, are pretty quick. Here I'll go from 8th to 6th. Just goes. It's not as fast as a dual clutch, but it's also way, way, way less expensive. And this 8-speed transmission has been proving itself in a lot of different applications over the last 3 or 4 years. So I like it. Obviously, the upcoming Z28 and ZL1 are going to be available with the 10-speed automatic transmission that Chevy is co-developing with Ford, and we'll see how that is. But one thing I will say is I'm doing a lot of up and down, up and down, up and down in this car, and maybe I don't have to as much in some situations, but if you're just going from a dead stop to 60, 61, 62 miles an hour, do a lot of shifting in this vehicle. And I don't mean being a shifty person, but I mean you do a lot of shifting. Even in automatic mode, it does. That was literally, I think, 7. Might have only been 6. But it's kind of fun to do. It's almost video game like. Like here I am coming to a stoplight. That's 3 pulls, 4 pulls, and I'm still in 4th. 4 pulls, 5 pulls, 6 pulls. Now I'm going to do an acceleration run here in a second, but you'll hear how many times I have to upshift, and I'll actually say it too. 1, 2. Now I am short shifting a little bit. 3, 4. Now I'm at the speed I want to be at, and I'm only in 5th. So now I have to go 6, 7, and 8. I could leave it in 7th, but you get better gas mileage when you leave it in 8th, quite frankly. Now, I also think it's one of the stupidest things to like about this car. Not stupid in the stupid reason, but my favorite part of the car is that mirror. It's weird. It's like an edgeless mirror with touch sensitive things for the OnStar, and it really, really calls to me. I just discovered something about 10 minutes ago, and it has to do with the cruise control system. And as you can see, you have your on-off button, decelerate, and accelerate buttons. There's no cancel button. The only way to cancel out the cruise control on this car is to either physically turn the entire system off or apply the brakes. I think that is a little bit of an oversight, especially since you have multi-direction controls on this side. They could have put a separate cancel button. In fact, the Impala that I took to the dealership to switch for this vehicle had that button. So maybe in the future generations they'll add that second button on the side, or technically it would be the 4th button, but you know what I mean. The nav system on the car. Nav system works pretty well. It's not quite as sensitive as the Sync 3 system, but it is better than the Sync 2 system. So that's good. It seems to work well. I don't have any problems. It gave me a good route to go on the way down, shaved probably an hour off by not actually having to hit Richmond or the main part of the freeway until the very last second. On the way back, I'm just reversing the course, so that'll be good. Ride comfort. This has the 18-inch wheels, so it's got the bigger tires on it, you know, the thicker tires, taller sidewalls. So it actually rides pretty darn nice. Probably would ride just as good in comfort mode on the 20s, because even the 20s have quite a bit of meat on them because of the size of the car and the size of the wheel wells. The 20s are the right size for this car, whereas the older cars, 18s, would have been plenty and sufficient and all that good stuff for it. So, oh my god, I thought the screen was cracked. Just another piece of plastic. Holy crap, that scared the shit out of me. So let me just kind of readjust you, because you're just going to fall over as soon as I start moving. There you go. Now you'll just click every 5 milliseconds.